Happy Saturday. So today I am starting some seeds and I thought I'd show you guys that. This is actually set up in one of the rooms, one of the kids' rooms. It's not being used right now. So I went to Menards this morning and got a few things, and I'm going to show you my setup. I had already started a couple things over here. They're not really doing much yet, and I do have a grow lamp. This is actually from my chicken coop. I had an extra lamp from the chickens, but you can get these at any hardware store or Royal King, whatever. And it does have a grow light lamp in it, and I think that I still have the box to that actually. So here is the grow light bulb that I put in there. My husband got these from his work, so I'm not sure exactly. There's all kinds of variations, and I think you have to look up the plants that you're trying to grow and then what is the best wattage and all of that. So this first year I've tried that. I'm just gonna give it a go. So this morning when I went to Menards, I got a new seed mat. So this things like peppers, tomatoes, things that really like the heat are gonna need a seed mat to get seedlings started. You don't have to have one, but this is so much easier, especially I'm in Indiana and it's February, it's snowing, and my house is drafty. It's hard for me to keep a nice warm environment for seeds to sprout on tomato plants and things like that really like the heat. So I'm going to use this. So this is my old one bit the dust, and this is a replacement, and I have to say the last 5 years the price has gone up significantly on these. So so I have a tub here that's going to catch all the water and my seed mat, and I'm going to go ahead and put you guys up here while I get that going. Open this bad boy up. See what's in here. I think it says that this is waterproof, but I'm going to put it underneath my tub. So this is what that looks like, kind of the material. There's two, you can get those plastic. I'm just going to struggle with the packaging. So two, you can get those plastic trays that already have like the pods in them. Those are nice. I just try to keep expenses down, and so some of the pellets, and I'll show you those next. But basically I'm gonna lay this underneath and lay my tub on top of that, plug that bad boy in. Alright, so what I'm gonna be planting is this is a black tomato. It's from Baker's Creek, and this, so this is from last year. I did not buy any new seed this year. I'm going to try to use up what I have. So this was free seed that came like because I ordered so many or whatever. So this may even have been from the year before. I'm not positive. So it's a year or two old, so it may not be we may not get a plant from every seed, but even if you plant them the first year, you may not get a plant from every single seed. So the other one I have here is the peppers. This is California Wonder Pepper. And we're going to do both these, start these both in pellets. So I did get some pellets from the store this morning. That's just what they had in my local, I think these were the only kind they had actually in my local Menards. So you can also like order them on Amazon if you're patient. I was not, so I wanted to get them going. So what's cool about these, you can see like there's just tiny little pellets like that, pretty small. But you lay them down in the container and you pour water over them and they're going to expand quite a bit. About an inch, inch and a half, I'd say. So, got my water here and I'm just going to pour it over those. This is really super professional. Let those expand a bit. So you can see like pretty immediately they start to expand. Just let them sit in the water, they soak up the water and expand over a couple of minutes time. All right, so these have expanded quite a bit and I think we're just about ready to put some seeds into them. I did want to show you guys quickly too another method you can use rather than the pods. You can use the peat pots like this. The nice thing is I put in these just as an experiment some pole beans. So pole beans, you don't normally start indoors. They don't like to transplant very well. So that's one that you normally direct sow or just put out when the season gets warm enough. But last year my pole beans all drowned in a flood and I just could not get them to recover, and the second set I did, it just was not long enough in the season to really get much green beans out of it, and that's what our family eats a lot of. So this year, just as an experiment, like I said, I don't have real high expectations because they really do not like to transplant. I'll try them in these peat pots. And the nice thing about these though is you can just kind of tear the corners here and lay this whole thing down in the ground. And this is because this is really compostable or biodegradable, however you want to say it. The plant will just get on down into the dirt through this, and this will break down, and it's very little transfer for the plant. You don't have to pull it out of the pot and worry about damaging the roots and things like that. So we'll give it a try and just see what happens. So our pods here are quite a bit bigger now than they were, as you can see. So I've got them all in the corner here, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my seed packets. The one thing I'm going to do too is like separate out. So we'll do these 8 with tomatoes, and we'll do these 8 with peppers. So I'm just going to open up my seed packet here and get my seeds. So there they are, very tiny little seeds here. And I'm just going to tuck them, like each one has that little hole. I'm just going to tuck a couple into each one of those. I actually dropped that guy in the water. Here we go. And because these seeds are older too, I'm probably going to do 2 in each one, just see which ones come up. And if I get 3, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. Stick them in there. You want to pack them real tight. You want to give them room to sprout out. So the nice thing too about doing these with peppers and tomatoes is like these little tiny seeds. They're hard to keep track of in a big pile of dirt, even in the peat pot. You know, if you don't get them exactly in the center, it's kind of like, where is that seed at? Is it going to come out? So the other thing I didn't show, which I should have, is each of these has a little bit of a like edging on them, and as the plant kind of sprouts up and stuff, you just kind of want to tear at that a little bit. You can kind of see it there. Tear the edges so you'll let it continue to expand. I'm just kind of, was too hard, obviously. Wow. Special moments here. So there's my seed though, so I'm just gonna pop it back on there. Not too much harm. And I got one here that I got down in the water. Let's see if I can catch him. He's taken off. Got it. So put that back. This is the fun thing about gardening to me, is I just like to play in the dirt and experiment, see what works, see what doesn't. And it's not really expensive. I mean, it can be if you start buying all these specialty plants or seeds or like going crazy with it, or all the tips and tricks type things. You can definitely rack up some dollars on that if you want, but just the basics, you really don't need a whole lot to get started. So I'm gonna try not to like tear this one up, just kind of loosen it a little. And these seeds you don't even really have to cover all the way, because they really like that sun exposure, that light exposure. It's not really the sun, it's artificial right now because we got them in this. We just kind of very lightly cover them over. And then like this one, you can see the edging, like this is all the edge stuff. So you don't want that in the way of your plant. So you do want to kind of pull that out of the way. So I'm not gonna just peel it all off, but I do want it kind of out of the way here. So they have plenty of room to sprout. So you can kind of see on this one too. See, this is like that edging material. And just pull that out of the way a bit. So tuck those guys in. This guy here is sticking out a little bit too. Just gonna tuck him in there. If they're sticking out a little, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything. The other thing too is like, you can Google or do some research on each individual plant. So if you Google it peppers, there's specific tricks just for peppers, or tomatoes, there's specific tricks just for tomatoes. Most seedlings start off pretty much the same though. Just give them some light and some dirt and some water. I do think like one thing that I'm guilty of, and why a lot of my seedlings like die and don't make it outside, is like the first week or so, because I'm just so excited, like I water them too much, and then after a while I'm like, oh wow, I'm watering them way too much. Then I'll give them a break, and because I don't come out and look at them every day or whatever, they are kind of out of my mind, and then I let them dry out. So tough but true. It's obviously better not to do that. So you can see too, like this one has a little bit of a dry spot here, but you want them like nice dark chocolate brown like this, and you can tell when they're dry because it'll be a lighter color brown, and you don't really want to water until you kind of see them start to be dry like that. A little bit of dryness there, because if you do continue to overwater them, they're going to die and not make it outside. I think that, like I said, like that's one of my more guilty things, is like my poor plants get watered to death and then like super thirsty because I don't water them then after that. So I'm gonna do my tomato seed here next. Just gonna pop those in there. And these, for whatever reason, I'm having much more trouble getting a hold of. So they're just going everywhere. Yeah, like, don't want 5 million of them in there. Try to get them into each pod here without too much craziness. just never know what's going to happen. Like one year I had so many tomato plants because I started all these seeds, and I really didn't expect them to do that great because I think they were ones somebody had just given me that had been in their cabinet for a while, and they just like sprouted up, and I had like 30 or 40 plants, and that was just way too much to even keep up with. And so I ended up giving some away and then killing some, unfortunately, and then having tomatoes out the ears, even with what we had that was left. So you just never know. It's kind of year to year, it's kind of a bit of an experimentation. And that's me as a home gardener. Like, obviously farming, there's a lot more that goes into it, a little more exact science. And just from experience, you learn what works, what doesn't. And you just kind of have to try it out for your area too. I get on Pinterest and I see cool things people have done, and then I try it in my yard, and like it doesn't work here. And that happens to me, you know, quite a bit. Not quite a bit, but now and again. So just kind of covering these over here. Like I said, just real superficial, because this is the kind of seed that really likes, you know, that light exposure. And then what I'm also going to do is let these sit here for just a little bit and soak up the rest of the water they want, and then I'm going to pour off the extra, because if you let them sit in a nice warm moist environment, you're going to get mold and things going, because mold really loves a more moist environment too. Also likes it more dark, but you know, survivor and all that. So there we are. So I got our tomatoes, our peppers, I started some pole beans, and stay tuned and we'll see what happens with these. So thanks so much for watching, guys.